What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to react to a bold prediction on the New York Jets with them making a big time trade. I don't know if I see this one, but I thought it was interesting to talk through because I saw it making the rounds. So let's hop into it. Josh Jacobs is the main storyline from this video, and here's where the story begins. So Maurice Moton of Bleacher Report was going through 8 bold predictions for the NFL training camp and just, things coming up for the remainder of the offseason. And one of his predictions were that the New York Jets would be giving up a draft pick in order to land Josh Jacobs. He says a day 2 pick, which means a second or third round pick, in order to land Josh Jacobs in a trade. Now, keep in mind, the New York Jets will be giving up more than likely a first round pick in next year's draft for Aaron Rodgers. It's right now a second, but if he plays more than 65% of snaps, that would be moved to a first round pick in 2024. So maybe that's let's call it a third round pick for someone like Josh Jacobs. And on the surface, that makes sense for, value wise, the kind of player that you would be getting in return. He was fantastic last year for the Vegas Raiders. He ran for 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, and averaged 4.9 yards per attempt. The guy's been an absolute beast, or was an absolute beast after kind of, not a great season the year prior, so much so that the Vegas Raiders decided not to pick up his 5th-year option. Maybe a mistake at that point because he plays his 4th year. He gets franchise tagged, which is a $10.1 million franchise tag. And he doesn't really seem to have much interest playing on that $10.1 million franchise tag, as he's maybe hinted at, with a couple of cryptic tweets, hinted at a holdout. So could the Raiders, who are really let's be honest, in no position to be a competitive team this year, maybe they try to flip him for a future asset or something like that? Is that a possibility? And should the Jets be interested? Now, they've been linked to Dalvin Cook a ton this offseason. He is just sitting there in free agency, so you wouldn't have to give up a draft pick. But you can make a case at 25 years old and just freshly turned 25 years old that Josh Jacobs is a better investment than a guy like Dalvin Cook. Is it worth giving up that, mid-round pick, we'll call it, in order to acquire him via trade than just signing Dalvin Cook? I don't know. I'm not too sure if he's not going to play on that 1-year, $10.1 million deal. He's looking for a little bit of an extension. What kind of deal is it? Are you going to pay him, $9 million over 2 or 3 years? And does that really stunt what you could do with Breece Hall? I understand wanting to add insurance for Breece this year coming off the ACL. I just don't know if I want to sign someone or trade for someone who's going to block him. And Josh Jacobs, I think, is someone of the caliber who would end up blocking Breece Hall eventually, where Dalvin Cook, not really the case at this point in his career. Early on, maybe he would be able to help with the workload because of Breece's recovery from the ACL surgery. And he's at a different point in his career. Obviously, Jacobs is a little bit younger and is looking to get paid for the first time. Dalvin Cook already got his big deal. He already made his money, and now he's on, the back 9 of his career. It stinks because he's 27, 28 years old, but unfortunately for running backs, that's it. That's the shelf life you're given in today's NFL. The position that really isn't valued all that much. You're seeing Saquon Barkley go through it right now in New York with the Giants. I don't know if I would want the Jets to, 1, give up assets in a trade, and then number 2, sign him to a big deal. Yes, in theory, would it be exciting to have a Jacobs and a Breece Hall 1-2 punch? Sure, but I don't know if that's the right roster construction or something that I would advocate for when you're trying to build this roster. There's other ways the Jets could spend their remaining cap space. I've been a big proponent of filling out the remainder of your linebacker and safety depth, because those to me are 2 of your weaker positions. And I guess you could make a case that running back beyond Breece Hall isn't good enough, but I don't know why you would use a pick on Izzy Abanikanda. You have Bam Knight. You also have Michael Carter, who I'm not, the book's not closed for me on Michael Carter. He was a tough second year last year, but I thought he flashed too much as a rookie for me to just completely, give up on and say, that's it. I want no part of him going forward. I think he's a cut or trade candidate. I'm not quite there yet. I think the Jets could absolutely get by with that running back room when you take into consideration that Number one, there'll be improved quarterback play going from Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mike White to Aaron Rodgers is going to be a significant upgrade, and the offensive line should be better. By the end of the year, the Jets were running out a makeshift offensive line, and that might be putting it nicely. They were abysmal down the stretch, and teams knew that they couldn't throw the ball down the field, so they were stacking the box, and the running backs had no chance. I think that's really a big factor. So I'm okay with the Jets running back room. I don't necessarily think that they have to make a trade like this, but interesting. Figured I'd bring it up and see what you guys think. Sound off below in the comments. Tell me if you want the Jets to trade for Josh Jacobs. Would you rather just sign Dalvin Cook? Do you want none of them? Let me know. I'm Matt. I'll catch you next time.